by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Other than we have so many atypical Mycobacteria also because tuberculosis. Tuberculosis was identified on 24th March. Global incidence is 9.6 million, Indian incidence is 2.2 million, very, very high. And India, Indonesia and China have the largest number of cases. About 25% of the world's tuberculosis population we are having. So it's a very, very high burden area, and India is the highest TB burden country amounting for nearly 1/5 of global incidence. Compromise. Then you have an inflammatory response, granuloma formation, and rupture of granuloma leads to the formation of disease. Can you connect this? Lymph nodes and beyond. So micropore or M cells translocation is a new and previously unknown mechanism by which Mycobacterium tuberculosis enters the body, and preventing Mycobacterium from attaching to the receptors of M cell surface can be by vaccinating against a bacterial protein, or it could block the bacterial entry and infection and spread to other organs. And disease onset outside of alveolar macrophage is not only possible but also important in the pathogenesis of tuberculosis infection, because nowadays we are seeing a lot of atypical infections. Only lymph node tuberculosis, only extrapulmonary tuberculosis in abdomen and whatnot. So, how to diagnose? Major concern is how to diagnose, especially in the era where you have lot of investigative medicine and you have to have the proof for the disease. So diagnosis of latent infection, that can be by the tuberculin skin test or by the gamma interferon technique. Now, here I would like to remind you that we see a lot of cases where there is diagnosis only on the basis of gamma interferon. They come with a report and they say this gamma interferon is positive, and that is why the doctor asked me to get the treatment. But gamma interferon minded is only for the latent infection. This test was designed in UK to identify the epidemiological basis or the epidemiology of the tuberculosis in immigrant population in UK. So that only reads the latent infection, not the actual or the active or the true infection. And what we are doing in India with a high burden and endemic area, we are trying to diagnose it only on the grounds of interferon gamma, which is not validated by the WHO. So then another part is the active tuberculosis. History and clinical examination, they are the most important things which lead you to suspicion or which lead to the disease. Radiographic features, as you all know and you see in your day-to-day practice, that radiographic features sometimes point out that yes, this may be tuberculosis, and that's how you proceed. But bacteriological evaluation, that is the most important part. That bacteriological evaluation, some sort of positivity must be there when you are diagnosing a case of tuberculosis as a clinician. So there are molecular methods for detection, identification, and also detection of resistance minded. Conventional diagnostic methods like smear examinations and AFB cultures, immunological diagnosis, and newer diagnostic methods like nucleotidification amplification test and mycobacterial growth inhibition test are there. So, expert MTB test, that is to rapidly identify MDR strain, what we call in RNTCP or Revised National Tuberculosis Control Program as CBNAT, cartridge-based nucleic acid amplification test. This is comparatively newer PCR-based diagnostic method. WHO has endorsed this for current use in the method of MDR tuberculosis and simultaneously detects the Mycobacterium tuberculosis as well as rifampicin resistance. That is very important. Within 2 hours, you get to know whether the patient is infected with Mycobacterium tuberculosis complex and whether there is rifampicin resistance or not. So it's a very, very good test with a very good sensitivity of 94% and a specificity of 97%. So it's a very, very good test which identifies Mycobacterium tuberculosis as well as the resistance. So limitation of the diagnostic test, what are the limitations? Why there is so much controversy or why there is so much confusion? See, sputum examination is difficult. First of all, sample collection. You need to have an early morning sample. Sometimes it is inadequate, sometimes only saliva is there, so it's difficult. Then false positivity during recovery phase. So it presents like that the patient is already Mycobacterium tuberculosis positive and not useful for monitoring of treatment response, especially in the resistant cases. Then skin prick test and interferon gamma test. They are not useful in HIV patients and they cannot separate patients who have active disease from those who have only infection or who are no longer sick or vaccinated against tuberculosis. So in all cases, you get both the skin prick test as well as the gamma interferon positivity. Expert or gene expert test, this has reduced accuracy in HIV positive patients as well as it is not a very useful tool for monitoring treatment response. So for monitoring treatment response, you have to always go in for cultures, especially the rapid cultures. So all those things contribute to either underdiagnosis of disease or overdiagnosis of disease or delayed diagnosis of drug resistance. And that leads to the cost, that leads to the suffering of the patient, and that leads to the progression of the disease and the progression of the infection in the society because it spreads. So unmet needs for the diagnosis of tuberculosis, what are they? Considering current limitations in active tuberculosis diagnosis and effective monitoring of treatment response, WHO consensus statement has called for new non-sputum diagnostics which is easy to run. They are in trial phase to reduce burden, detection gaps, funding close and new tools to be developed. And new diagnostics will be needed to achieve the targets set in the End TB strategy, what Dr. Tariq was telling.